movies, rap music, country music, and the latest news in the entertainment world. Those are the topics tonight on February 8th, 2021. Welcome to RMU Extra. I'm Austin Bechtold alongside my co-host, as always, Luke Yost. Tonight, Colby Sherwin will be joining us to talk about 2021's most anticipated movies, including The Eternals, Space Jam, as well as Tom and Jerry. Jared Calvert will give us his takes on the biggest rap music songs, including the best love songs and the best heartbreaking songs. And Michael Delahanty will be here as well for the first time here on RMU Extra to talk about some country music that he recommends that you should listen to. But we begin tonight's news with our top headlines, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers becoming the first team to host the Super Bowl and win it in their home stadium. Tom Brady becomes the first player in NFL history with seven Super Bowl championships, more than the New England Patriots and Pittsburgh Steelers' whole organizations as a whole. Brady connected with Rob Gronkowski for 2 touchdowns, giving fans flashbacks to the duo's dominant days in New England. Brady's performance should cement himself as the greatest quarterback of all time, with nothing else left to prove. Also, The Weeknd headlined the Super Bowl 55 halftime show, and the audience was conflicted on how to react to his performance. The performance has already sparked a meme of The Weeknd running aimlessly around the set, trying to escape a gold maze. No guests appeared in the show, and it was basically a reality phase due to complications of the pandemic. Luke, you rated it a 3.7 out of 5. I rated it a 3. What did you make overall, just a little bit quickly here, of just his performance?
As a spectacle, I feel like the performance was great. You had a lot of different set pieces. The one big thing that I know I missed was having a set stage. I think that if you look back at all of the Super Bowl halftime shows, I would say most of them, if not 90% of them, had a certain, this is our stage, this is where we're going to end at. He was all over the field. I thought it was interesting and kept you visually engaged. What
did you think of the Super Bowl overall? Because I really, I predicted on the show with Ethan Morrison that Kansas City was going to find a way to win by a field goal. Now, obviously, that was not the case.
Not at all.
As Tom Brady, I guess, I should have learned my lesson after 6 Super Bowls and never bet against them.
Well, after now 7 Super Bowl wins, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, the man is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, postseason performer in the history of sports. Doesn't matter what sport. Any postseason game that Tom Brady's in, he has a chance to win. It doesn't matter with who. But you look at the rosters for the Chiefs and for the Buccaneers. The Chiefs really needed their offensive line to step up, and they didn't.
They were hurt.
Patrick Mahomes was all over the field in the backfield. He was running scared for most of the game, and Tom Brady had his offense rolling, and it looked like the offense has been New England with Rob Gronkowski catching 2 touchdown passes.
He sure did. Crazy once again, but Brady, he's superhuman. He does it again. But in the Big Brother universe, Big Brother 20 and Big Brother All-Stars legend Tyler Crispin proposed to his Big Brother 22 sweetheart Angela Rummins on the beach of Hilton Head Island last week. Crispin faked an interview on the beach with one of his friends, and he had his lifeguarding boss call him to help in a beach rescue attempt, which didn't end up happening because the camera crew followed Angela as she looked to see what was going on and found Tyler and their family standing on the sand with signs saying, "Will you marry me?" The two have been dating since 2018 and become the latest Big Brother showmance to continue in the outside world and outside of the Big Brother house.
And on a more somber note, beloved child actor Dustin Diamond passed away last Monday, February 1st, at the age of 44. Diamond was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in late January. Diamond got his big break when he was cast to play Screech Powers in the popular NBC show Saved by the Bell in 1988. After the success of the show, the actor battled personal demons, but his role as Screech has stood the test of time.
And another sad note, legendary singer Tony Bennett's family has confirmed in the past few weeks that Bennett has been dealing with Alzheimer's. Bennett was diagnosed in 2016, but didn't start feeling the effects of the disease until 2018 when he was recording a song with Lady Gaga. Bennett has been encouraged to continue singing and attempt to live as normal as a life as possible to try to counteract the dementia, as he is still able to do things that most people with the disease are unable to do. Bennett's wife Susan has been helping him through the later portions of his life since they married in 2007. Also, Andrew Lincoln announced that he is looking forward to the filming of the Rick Grimes movie series, set to begin recording at the end of spring and towards the beginning of summer 2021. Lincoln left The Walking Dead after his character was apparently seen being blown up by an explosion in an attempt to kill a herd of walkers that was coming towards the community. But unknown to his family and friends on the show, he was believed to be life-flighted to another community for care. The movie should provide fans with answers as to what really happened to Rick and how his life developed within the Walking Dead universe. The Walking Dead is set to return on February 28th on AMC to cap off Season 10 and premiere for the end of the show's run on Season 11. Now joined by Colby Sherwin to talk about the latest movies, not just the Rick Grimes movie, but the latest movies that are coming out in 2021. So Colby, thanks for joining me as always.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to first ask you, what do you make of just some of the new movies that are coming out this year? What are you most looking forward to?
One big thing for me is going back to the movie theaters with a new movie coming out. We had a lot of movies delayed due to the pandemic, obviously. A big one I think about is the Black Widow prequel, which was delayed due to COVID-19. I'm just really excited to see a new movie and go to a movie theater.
So we've seen a lot of movies that have been pushed back due to the effects of the pandemic. Tell me what you think of Eternals, and are you excited for the debut of another Marvel movie?
So the Eternals is, from what I understand, it's like the gods of the Marvel Universe. They're kind of, obviously they're eternal, they watch over. They've been teased in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And apparently, there's rumors that Thanos is there's a little bit of background of Thanos, who was the villain, obviously, in Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, and Harry Styles is in the cast.
Okay, I mean, that's big news if Thanos ever appears.
Yeah.
So nobody snaps their fingers. What do you make of a movie that's really, really in my heart? Space Jam. You know, the original Space Jam with Michael Jordan was such a great movie, debuted in 1996, before we were born.
Yeah.
But being able to watch that movie, such a classic, and they're remaking it with LeBron. What do you think of the remake?
I'm honestly excited. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Space Jam has a star-studded NBA cast, actually. It has LeBron James, Blake Griffin, and Jimmy Butler all in it. I believe it's basically the same plot as some NBA players are going to lose their ability to play basketball, and LeBron's going to have to play with the Looney Tunes cast and play basketball, so I'm honestly ecstatic for it.
Yeah, and we see in this tweet just how surprised LeBron was in 2019 to, it was really surreal for him, just being able to film and be there on the set and really see this all come to life. So something else that's coming to real life on the movie set is Tom and Jerry. What do you make of the new Tom and Jerry movie, and how exciting do you think it's going to be for a lot of the younger generation?
Well, Tom and Jerry was one of my favorite shows growing up. From what I can tell, it is going to be Tom and Jerry are in the real world. Obviously, it's set in a hotel, I believe, in New York. Jerry is a mouse that they want to get out of there, so they hire Tom. Some of the cool cast that I saw was Keon Jeng is in it, and he's in The Hangover, so I kind of like him as an actor. I think it's going to be a really great movie, and as you can see here, it's also on HBO Max.
Yeah, so out of these three movie recommendations, which one are you most looking forward to?
It's got to be Space Jam. I'm so excited for that movie. LeBron James is one of my favorite basketball players. Jimmy Butler is too, and I grew up on that movie. It's kind of how I learned what basketball really, or the NBA really was. I just can't wait to see it.
So why do you think people should watch a movie like Tom and Jerry, or like The Eternals, or maybe even any other movie that you would recommend?
I think it's a great time to hang out with your friends, a little bit back to normalcy, because it's been so long of just anything normal, honestly. COVID's had us in our houses for so long, it's just something to do.
So you mentioned COVID, and it's really impacted just life with the movies, especially people aren't going to the movies as frequently. A lot of movie theaters are really not allowing anybody in. What do you think? What impact do you think this is going to have? Do you think we're going to see more movies streaming, or do you think gradually people are going to return to the theaters?
So we've seen a lot of movies go to streaming services instead of being in movie theaters. Tom and Jerry is going to be movie theaters and also on HBO Max. I believe that that Mulan movie was also straight to Disney Plus. We've seen a lot of movies do that instead, but I think you're going to see a lot of cross streaming on streaming services and then movie theaters.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. I missed the movies. I mean, I haven't been there in like a year, maybe a year and a half.
I've been there maybe once.
It's crazy. I'm looking forward to Fast and Furious 9.
I'm excited.
Even though it's 9.
Yeah.
But they're still great.
Yeah.
So, Colby, thanks as always for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, we will be talking to Jared Calvert to give you the best love songs in rap and also the greatest heartbreak songs. So stay tuned here on RMU Extra.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Extra. I'm joined, as always, every week by our music expert, music guru, Jared Calvert. Jared, thanks for coming on, as always.
Thank you for having me, as always.
So, I want to talk about some of these songs that you told me about off air. Some romantic songs, some, rap songs when you think about them. In terms of romantic songs, you think like slower pace and you think maybe more pop songs. What are some of the biggest love type of songs in the rap world?
Oh, just some of my favorite off the top of my head. Lil Sky's Name in the Sand. I loved that song before it was even on the album. Shelby, Polo G and Martin and Gina.
That's a great song.
That is, I think, one of the most underrated songs off that album. Speaking of underrated, Trippie Redd, Moonlight. I liked that song. I came back to the album. I was like, wow, I can't believe I didn't notice this the first time. Bryson Tiller, Jack Harlow with their songs. They're very similar. Both new at the end of 2020. Two Juice WRLD songs.
Yeah,
Flaws and Sins.
Flaws and Sins,
It's probably the most underrated Juice WRLD song, in my opinion.
I didn't really like it at first, but the more I listened to it, the more I really started to like it. And we got a G-Eazy song. I know you're a big fan of G-Eazy.
Yeah, no less. Same exact way with Flaws and Sins. And Juice WRLD's other song, Forever, his first song ever on SoundCloud.
Wow.
Low quality, but his vocals are just amazing, even recording it off of a phone.
It's crazy to think of that. What are some heartbreak songs? Sadder note. A lot of rappers tend, when they get in their feelings, got to make a song, got to go out there and talk about it. What are some of your heartbreak songs to listen to?
And a lot of them are really good too. One I can think of off the top of my head, Wiz Khalifa, Hopeless Romantic with Sway Lee. Love that chill song. The Kid Laroi with Maybe. I don't know why, but I was tearing up listening to that song. And it was the first song on the album. I was like, wow, what am I getting myself into?
You know what really makes me sad is I Fall Apart by Post Malone.
Oh my, I was just listening to that earlier today actually. Young Blue, we had Drake hop on the remix with You're Mine Still. Black Bear, another really good artist if you're feeling down. I Miss the Old You is just one of my favorite songs to listen to. XXX Tentacion, can't go wrong with him either, with Numb the Pain, which is just an acoustic, raw vocal, him and his buddy playing guitar in a room. Rich Brian, History, and I also discovered Powfu, Dead Eyes. All amazing heartbreak songs to listen to that I recommend.
So out of all those songs, if you could pick one love song and one heartbreak song, which one would you choose as your favorite?
Oh, one from each. I have to go with probably Tell Me Why by The Kid Laroi. I wanted to keep it a little diverse, but and then Tell Me You Love Me by Juice WRLD for my favorite love song. I don't know why, but him and Trippie Redd together is just a lethal duo, and you can't go wrong with those two.
Yeah. So we've discussed this before, but Lil Uzi Vert actually got a diamond in his forehead.
He did. $24 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he was spotted at the Super Bowl. I just looked it up before the show. Tory Lanez tried trolling him too, saying he got a $67 billion cross implanted into his forehead. Did you see the pictures of him bleeding from the diamond?
I did, but why? You see, I really don't understand why you would do this. I understand that it's kind of, it's very interesting, but I don't understand the theory behind it. Could you give a little insight as to maybe why Lil Uzi Vert decided to do this?
I really couldn't tell you either, but he went up in his price,
yeah,
and he does what he wants. And he's really standing out with the diamond in his head. And
that's for sure.
Speaking of Lil Uzi, he's dropping a song this Friday.
There you
go.
go.
Look forward to that coming up Friday.
Well, someone that had a very big weekend was the Weeknd at the Super Bowl halftime show. What did you make of his performance? Because I thought, me and Luke just thought it was okay. We thought it was kind of average. The audio was okay. Not having that many guests, in a COVID world is kind of the reality of it. What did you think?
I would rate it the same that Yost did. Pre-recorded or not, I thought it was good. And of course, the most memeable moment was when he was inside the lights and he was looking around and everything. He was singing "I Can't Feel My Face," and then all of his lookalikes and clones came in with bandages on their faces, and then there was dozens and dozens of them more later on the field. I thought it was a pretty good halftime show, better than what we've seen in the past. I think it was better than Shakira's last year, and it could even arguably be better than Travis Scott's.
Yeah. All right, well, Jared, that's all the time we have for today. As always, it seems to always go so fast.
I know, really.
But we'll be back next week.
Of course.
With more of our music guru, Jared Calvert. Jared, thanks as always.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we have a big interview. Luke Yost will be talking to Mike Delahanty to tell you the latest country music after Jared talked about the latest rap music. So stay tuned here on RMU Extra.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to RMU Extra. I'm now joined by Mike Delahanty to talk about some country music. Mike, what are some upcoming albums that we should be expecting to listen to on our radio waves for the next, next summer?
Yeah, so again, it's early in the year, so there's not a whole lot of announcements yet. But coming out this Friday is Florida Georgia Line's 5th studio album, Life Rolls On, and their last album as a duo. Unfortunately breaking up and starting to do solo projects, both Tyler Hubbard and Brian Kelly going their separate ways. Carly Pearce coming out with our 3rd studio album later in February, called 29. And my personal favorite, Eric Church, releasing 3 studio albums this year that he recorded wrote and recorded in 28 days in the mountains of North Carolina. That's coming out in April.
A little bit more on Eric Church. He sang the national anthem. He started singing the national anthem last night. The Super Bowl was finished, and there was a nice duet there. What did you think of his performance on perhaps the biggest stage in America?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice for him to get a more national spotlight. I mean, even though he's one of the biggest stars in country music, he's definitely overlooked. And for him to be on a national stage like that, even though the performance was more of a song, where I prefer more of it just singing the anthem instead of making it into a song with instruments and whatnot, I think it was a good opportunity for him, and I'm glad he got the chance to do it.
We mentioned Morgan Wallen in the upcoming albums. It's already been released, however, but he's been in some hot water lately.
Yeah, a lot of trouble. It's probably his third time getting into trouble, getting kicked out of a bar, being kicked off of SNL for having a large party in the middle of a pandemic, and now the hot water that he's facing right now. It's really sad to see that as an upcoming artist who just released probably the biggest album we'll get this year. I mean, 30 songs, the deluxe having 33 songs, and it's a shame that, but it hasn't stopped his records from selling. I mean, he still has Dangerous is still the top album on iTunes and on all these charts. It really hasn't stopped him.
His label did drop him after they said they were going to suspend him. Do you think that this might be the last large album we get from Morgan Wallen, or is there one in the future for him?
I don't think so. I think that he's probably going to become a independent artist. I mean, we've seen this with other artists like Upchurch, who have had a lot of success in the independent music world. The albums that Morgan will probably release in the future probably won't get huge amount of airplay or views, but I think he's established enough of a fan base now where those albums will do pretty well.
And Mike, I want your prediction. Who do you think will be the artist we're going to listen to through this entire summer as we move into maybe a normal summer, if you will, after 2020?
Yeah, so one of the artists that I've predicted not only to be the biggest of this year, but to be the biggest of this decade is Lee Brice. I believe Lee Brice, he had a lot of success in the 2010s, but I believe this decade he's had 3 number ones in the past couple years, and that's pretty big for a smaller artist like him, and I think he's on the way up to being one of the biggest artists in country music.
Well, Mike, one of my picks to be that next big country artist, he's actually making his way up the charts now, is Luke Combs.
Yes, absolutely.
But if you want to catch more of Mike Delahanty, catch him on RMU Central Media in the Arts and Entertainment section. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk about what mine and Austin's What to Watch are for this week. Stay with us here on RMU Extra.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Welcome back to RMU Extra. Big week in sports this past week, Luke.
Huge week in sports.
Was not just the Super Bowl.
No, we had a lot to talk about. One thing I want to talk about the Super Bowl, though, I did see before the show that the Vegas Golden Knights actually asked their players to vote on who's going to win the Super Bowl, and one player actually took the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
But other than
they
the
did
Super
not
Bowl,
win.
They did not win. Other than the Super Bowl, though, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers wins his third MVP. The NBA plans for an All-Star game. Unlike the Pro Bowl, it's going to be a real All-Star game. And starting pitcher Trevor Bauer bounces to his third team in the last number of years, to the Dodgers. And that's in L.A. and San Diego are heating up out in California as far as baseball is concerned.
That's for sure. Trevor Bauer spurring the Mets, where a lot of people thought it was Big Apple or nothing for him. And that just was not the case. And it was pretty surprising to me. But what was really surprising was T.J. Watt not winning Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL, going to Aaron Donald once again.
Yeah, that felt to me as one of those moments where you kind of see, I don't want to say bias, but Aaron Donald plays on a better team, better defense than the Pittsburgh Steelers were. But T.J. Watt was the heart and soul of the defense. It's going to be a highly debated topic, and it seems like any yearly award, it doesn't matter what it is, it could be the most mundane thing, like the best running back in the league. It doesn't matter. People are still going to have a conversation about it, but when the stats are that far stacked in one direction, you kind of question a lot why they went with Aaron Donald and not T.J. Watt.
Yeah, and the one way that I kind of look at it is that, LeBron James is the most valuable player in the NBA. That's the case. Aaron Donald is probably the most valuable player on defense in the NFL. But eventually, when players outplay those best players, they deserve awards. And like you mentioned, T.J. Watt had all the numbers to be able to supplant himself ahead of Aaron Donald for the Defensive Player of the Year award, but just wasn't his year. See, maybe if it happens next year. But during the Super Bowl, the day after the NFL honors, we saw some very interesting commercials, Luke. None of them really stood out to me other than a Jeep commercial with Bruce Springsteen. And in that commercial, he basically just spoke about unity, being together, and it was towards the end of the game as well. And it kind of wrapped up a game that wasn't as good.
Yeah, he put a nice bow on it. One of the companies that didn't make our list here is Paramount Plus. They had a series of commercials I thought all did very well. But one of the things I'll never forget as long as I live is seeing John Cena with a really, really weird haircut. And I know I have a weird haircut going on right now, but John Cena's haircut was awful. And a pink convertible drinking pink Mountain Dew. It'll never go away. And that's something that's going to live with me forever.
That was very interesting. Also, which was interesting, was the Bud Light Legends commercial. All the legendary Bud Light commercials all coming together. And
it's incredible. It was awesome.
Very
Great
incredible.
to see.
But I'm sure you watched the Super Bowl. But my what to watch, in case you weren't going to watch it before, that I recommend that you should see, is The Equalizer, starring Queen Latifah. Latifah plays the role of ex-CIA operative Robin McCall as a remake of the original Equalizer series in the 1980s. It's a very action-packed show that I was able to catch after the Super Bowl. And there was a lot of twists and turns and just surprising things that happened in the show that makes you go, wow, and makes me think that it's going to make it on CBS, airing Sunday nights at 8 p.m. before NCIS LA and NCIS New Orleans. Luke, what's your what to watch?
Remember that weird commercial from the Super Bowl last night? The one with all the butterflies? Yeah, that was a commercial for Clarice. It stars Rebecca Breeds in the title role of Clarice. Nonetheless, it's based on the movie The Silence of the Lambs from 1991. The show actually premieres 4 days prior to the 20th anniversary of the movie, and it follows Clarice Starling as she continues her role as an FBI agent. This is going to be a great show if you're into those really twisted and horror-based television shows.
Yeah, it really is, and we've seen a lot of commercials for that, and like you mentioned, Paramount Plus, we saw so many commercials for that. And CBS All Access is becoming Paramount Plus. But for everyone here on RMU Extra and Luke Yost, I am Austin Bechtold. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.